digital empowerment as a pathway to economic transformation. So just quickly, everything that is here has been talked about. Perhaps just to re-emphasize what the minister said, and I said, wow, did she read my presentation? In a world where there is a smartphone in just about every pocket, this can't continue. What can't continue? The construction industry continuing to perform at the level that it is performing and lagging in adopting new technologies. At the moment, the construction industry is the least digitized industry. And if you think about where we're going, it is unacceptable, especially in view of this fact. Every one of us has got a cell phone or a smartphone in our pocket. So, when we talk about the built environment itself, first of all, the future looks quite challenging. Why so? Think about the population growth, urbanization, economic expansion that is going, and all this somehow is going to be driven by digitization. And then, of course, the increased demand for construction output. Here in South Africa already, there is earmarked budgets for infrastructure development that is going to call on our services from the industry. However, at the moment, the construction industry also is one of the least productive industries. Okay. There's also a bit of project complexity creeping in, clients getting more sophisticated and they want better, bigger and other things. And let's face it as well, this is an industry that has got very low margins and constrained finances of the traditional business model. This was mentioned earlier on in terms of skills gap that is going to take us into the future. And the construction industry generates a lot of waste from the construction activities. Those are some of the things that we are going to face. So now coming industry 4.0 or 4IR as you put it, what's happening and what we see is that the status quo is changing. And in some areas it's changing quite fast. You just have to reflect on what the minister earlier on said. Okay, digital is also diffusing into the construction industry. There are some of us who in years past thought would not get here, but where we are, we don't have time to play the video that I prepared, but things are moving even within South Africa. This is what somebody said: the future is here. It is just not evenly distributed. So we cannot bury our heads in the sand and pretend that nothing is happening. It's on. So my argument is that the industry in South Africa must, okay, and there's an emphasis there, must digitize. Okay? Why? When sensors work, processes, algorithms, design estimates, big data power scheduling, the result will be more profitable, especially for industry, which has very small margins. With more maturity, in fact, business models will evolve, okay? That will create new ones as well going forward. And what is scary for some of us is that traditional barriers are going to fall down, okay? Capital will no longer be an issue. Knowledge, in fact, it's not be an issue whether you've got that particular knowledge or not. Efficiencies and capacity will be broken down by digital technologies. You can access that anywhere on the internet. Okay, right now, I think it was the minister who said they are in partnership with Coursera. Coursera, you can access the top professors in the world anywhere at any time. So small companies now can be able to compete with big companies, accessing the professional skills or services that they need, that they cannot ordinarily have obtained or employed in their organization. Okay, just continuing on why digitized. We anticipate that there will be an improved productivity as well as profitability. I've said that. Faster, more efficient construction, greater predictability, safer projects, and all these things we need there. Just to summarize all these issues here, this is what this lady said, Danielle Buncho. And one thing that is also making me happy, at least, is that in the construction industry, for the first time, women, in fact, most women, are finding a voice and are participating in a much more prominent roles than before. This is one such woman. You can Google what she said here. She says, the first time we experience disaster should not be in the real world, with the real people and with the real money. So what do? You use the digital tools that we have to simulate what the structure is going to be and how we are going to build. In fact, if it is dangerous exercise or project, we can be able to simulate and anticipate. Currently, the construction industry loses money, is unproductive, kills more people. Why? Because we do not have tools. It no longer has to be that way anymore because we have got the tools that we need going forward. Okay, I will not go too much into detail of what is already there. Some of the things I've already been talking about. Infinite computing in the cloud. You don't have to have servers anymore in your organization. You can access powerful computers in the cloud and do the work that big boys or big girls do. Okay? Big data, symmetric collaboration. Minister talked about collaboration, the need. But maybe just what I wanted to say quickly is that despite all these exciting things that we are able to do, for us here in South Africa, in some parts of South Africa, I must say, because elsewhere things are happening, it's an exciting period, but it's also a scary one. Why? It's been mentioned earlier on that we may not have sufficiently qualified industry-specific, and here I think the leadership of BBCBE, this is where we commend you. What's happening at the moment, there's nothing wrong with having IT people in the industry participating, but when they drive the process, I think that's a problem. So we need people who understand the industry itself to have capacity and work on specific digital applications that we need. Okay? It's like lawyers deciding our fate, isn't it? On contracts and contract administration. And hence you have got more and more litigations and more problems. Okay? That's one thing. So more complex facilities and AI solutions. But for us, this is also one of the things that we need to be thinking about. It is expected that as we get into the 2020s, just about 20% to 25% of current jobs are going to be lost. And this will hit mainly the middle income workers. And SME companies, which is predominantly BBCBE's constituency, are also at risk. But the minister did assure us earlier on, and this is the beauty about it, some jobs are going to be destroyed. Others will emerge. New sectors will also come up. That should not be our fear. Okay, this gentleman put it very correctly. Pierre, it's French. I'm not French, so I can't pronounce it properly. He said digital is the main reason just over half of the companies on the Fortune 500 have disappeared since year 2000. So it's here. And this conference could not have been at a better time than this, where we have to think about what others experienced and how do we respond going forward. So, what I call digital empowerment, this was mentioned by the minister and others who were here before. Education and skills development of the industry is going to be key. A deliberate choice that the industry makes, that you do not only train us in construction technology, but also in what? Digital applications, coding, and other related, or how to use the technologies themselves, in fact. Okay. The other one is that we must learn from other industries. We can no longer just focus on what we do. We must learn from what others are doing and experimenting with to help us move forward. Of course, I think it was the pilot who said we must invest in industry research. I was almost jumping out of my seat at the back there, supporting the universities because they spend a lot of time. The industry is only going to embrace and use and utilize these technologies if it is appropriate. And we can develop further if we know what is happening. So we need to monitor your projects in terms of the use, adopting, what are the barriers to acquiring the technology and the use of the technology, and what have been the results. The UK has been doing that. And they have a strategic position. You can Google that. Their ambition is to be able to develop construction expertise on digital and be able to do what? Not for their industry, but to export, so that they can provide solutions to us. That's a deliberate choice. Okay? Continuous professional development, but very important in terms of empowerment. And maybe if you forget everything else, CEO and the organizers of the conference, is that the future will be about AI, artificial intelligence. But AI depends on data. Who is collecting the data? And who is storing the data? If we don't own the data, we will perpetually be enslaved, so to say, to others. So we must digitize right now. If you can't digitize, we don't know who our members are, what they're doing, the projects they're working on, what the challenges were, the lessons learned for the future. We might as well forget about AI, artificial intelligence. There's no intelligence without data. In conclusion, I think the minister said it, and I thought she read my presentation. We have to disrupt or be disrupted. Thank you.